Hey guys, so today we're doing one of my favorite videos that I do every single month, and that is my anticipated releases for the month of November 2021. It's crazy that we are so close to the end of the year, and I'm so excited for so many of these books that come out in November. November tends to be a really good month for fantasy book releases for some reason. Like, I don't know what it is about fall. Fall means fantasy, apparently, in the publishing world, and I'm here for it. I'm living for it. There's a lot of really cool books coming out, some sequels, some new books, and I'm just here to talk about all of them because, you know, I just like to talk about books, and that's what we do. So, we are going to dive into my Goodreads list that I have saved right here on my phone, and we're going to go over all of the books. So, I thought I had more, but apparently I only have 5 books that I put on my list to talk about for the month of November, which is really surprising to me, actually. And a couple of them are sequels. But you know what? We're just going to talk about them because these 5 books are apparently the ones that piqued my interest and that I'm excited about and want to read in the month of November. So the first one that I'm super excited about is called Noor, and it is by Nnedi Okorafor. I loved the Benti trilogy that Nnedi Okorafor wrote. So I'm very, very excited for like anything that she releases. And this one sounds so cool. Like, her writing is just super interesting and like her stories always hook me. So I'm really excited for this one. So I cannot pronounce the name of the main character. Sorry. Main character prefers to be called AO. To her, these initials have always stood for artificial organism. AO has never really felt natural. That's putting it lightly. Her parents spent most of the days before she was born praying for her peaceful passing because even in utero, she was wrong. But she lived. Then came the car accident, years later, that disabled her even further. Yet instead of viewing her strange body the way the world views it, as freakish, unnatural, and even the work of the devil, AO embraces all that she is. A woman with a ton of major and necessary body augmentations. And then, one day, she goes to her local market and everything goes wrong. On the run, she meets a Fulani herdsman named DNA. And the race against time across the deserts of northern Nigeria begins. In a world where all things are streamed, everyone is watching the reckoning of the murderess and the terrorist and the saga of the wicked woman and man unfold. This fast-paced, relentless journey of tribe, destiny, body, and the wonderland of technology revels in the fact that future sometimes isn't so predictable. Accept the unaccepted. I mean, that sounds fantastic. If you've read any of Nnedi Okorafor's other books, you know that she has like a very unique writing style. She herself describes it as African futurist, and I love that. Her books are beautiful. So I'm very excited to read this when it comes out. I think this is actually a full novel. So most of her books that I've read have been like novellas. This one says it's 224 pages. So that's, you know, a pretty decent sized book. It's longer than I think like the whole Benti trilogy put together. And this releases on November 9th. Next up, this next one shouldn't surprise you at all whatsoever, especially if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time. And that is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 3rd book in the Skyward series. This is not the end. This is going to be a quartet from what I understand. So there is going to be one more after this. And there's also novellas that I have not read yet that I need to read, I think, before this comes out. But I'm so excited. I actually pre-ordered this from Brandon Sanderson's website. I got the like signed, personalized edition. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. Like I haven't really been ordering a whole lot of books, especially new books, but it's one of my favorite series. I love Brandon Sanderson, and I absolutely needed the like signed, personalized edition of this. I mean, you know, I needed it. So I'm very, very excited. Skyward is a young adult sci-fi novel. It is not set in his Cosmere. It's one of his very few non-Cosmere works. He does have a couple others, but I think this is the most like popular of his non-Cosmere works, and I absolutely adore it. Like, I have a full review for book 1 if you want to check that out, which it's an old review, so like be easy on me if you do, because like your girl was kind of messy back then. Not that I'm not still messy, but I was a little more messy. So if you want to check out that full review for Skyward, please go ahead and check that out. And you can pick up Cytonic on the 23rd of November. All right, the next book that I'm super excited about that comes out in the month of November is Dreams Lie Beneath, and this is by Rebecca Ross. I had never heard of this author, and I really hadn't heard much about this book, but it sounds really cool. And I just happened to like come across it when I was just like looking through videos and like scrolling, you know, what's coming out in November. And this one really caught my attention. For one, it says it is perfect for readers of The Hazelwood and The Night Circus. That right there sold me. I have not read the Hazelwood yet, but The Night Circus is one of my absolute favorite books. So that right there was kind of all I needed to know to add it to this list. The synopsis goes: a curse plagues the realm of Asnor. During each new moon, magic flows from the nearby mountain and brings nightmares to life. Only magicians who serve as territory wardens stand between people and their worst dreams. Clementine is ready to take over as a warden of her small town, but when two magicians challenge her, she is unwittingly drawn into a centuries-old conflict. She seeks revenge, but as she secretly gets closer to Phelan, one of the handsome young magicians, secrets begin to rise. Clementine must unite with her rival to fight the realm's curse, which seems to be haunting her every turn. Like, it sounds like it's going to be like really magical and whimsical, and there's going to be romance, and like, I'm here for it. It sounds so good. All you have to do is compare something to like The Night Circus, and I'm like, taken it. And the publication date for this is going to be November 2nd. The next book is actually another sequel, and that is The Bone Shard Emperor, and that is by Andrea Stewart. This is the sequel to The Bone Shard Daughter, which is one that I read last year and absolutely loved. It was so good. I actually have the arc for this, so I'm probably gonna read this in November because I'm trying to do like my NetGalley November clean out thing, because like I have way too many NetGalley books, but that's neither here nor there. I'm really excited for this. I loved book 1. We're following this girl named Lynn, and we have like a whole cast of characters, but Lynn is kind of like our main character. She is the daughter of the emperor, but she has like amnesia. Like, she can't remember anything past like 5 years, and she's trying to figure out why. She's trying to figure out, you know, kind of what's going on so that she can take her rightful place as the heir. And then we're following a couple other people, and it's so good. It is so good. There's bone magic. I love bone magic. So I'm really, really excited for this one to come out, because like I want to know what happened after the end of book 1. And this comes out on November 9th. The last book that I'm super excited about in the month of November is All of Us Villains, and this is by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. It is apparently the first book in a new series, and this like hooked me right away because it gave me like feelings of an unkindness of magicians, just like based on reading the description. So I'm going to read that to you guys. After the publication of a salacious tell-all book, the remote city of Evernath is thrust into the worldwide spotlight. Tourists, protesters, and reporters flock to its spell shops and ruins to witness an ancient curse unfold. Every generation, 7 families name a champion among them to compete in a tournament to the death. The winner awards their family exclusive control over the city's high magic supply and the most powerful resources in the world. In the past, the villainous Lows have won nearly every tournament, and their champion is prepared to continue his family's reign. But this year, thanks to the influence of their newfound notoriety, each of the champions has a means to win, or better yet, a chance to rewrite their story. But this is a story that must be penned in blood. Like, the whole concept of like a magical community doing these like trials to like be the one in control, that reminds me so much of An Unkindness of Magicians, and I loved An Unkindness of Magicians. So I'm here for it. And it sounds like there's a lot of morally great characters. Like, I mean, the title is All of Us Villains. So totally sold on this. And this one also comes out on November 9th. And I have the ARC for this one too. So this one is going on my November TBR as well because, you know, cleaning out the NetGalley shelf because, like I said, there's a lot. Those are all of the books that I'm like super hyped for in the month of November. There's a ton more books coming out, but these are the 5 that I was like, I want these. I want to read these. I'm very excited for these and I want to talk about these because with so many books come out in November, especially, there's a ton of books coming out and I'm just like overwhelmed by all of it, right? So I'm like, these are the 5. The 5 that sound the best, the 5 that I really want to get to, and 2 of them are sequels. So there's that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what books that you are most excited about that come out in the month of November, and maybe I'll add them to my list too if they're not already there. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name's Jessie, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.